by Michelle again. So go for it, Michelle.
Great, thanks, Shannon. So our overall process remains similar. The applicant will submit a complete application package to us, and then it will go through our plan review process. We'll go ahead and send it to PG&E for official approval. And at that point, once the project is officially enrolled, we do encourage everyone to remain in contact with us. We'll touch base with you as your project completes, as it builds out, as it completes HERS testing. Once your HERS rater has conducted all the appropriate field tests, the builders or the homeowners will submit a complete incentive request package to us. We'll review all those documents to make sure everything is truly complete, and then we will issue, our PG&E will actually issue your incentive request, or incentive payment, I'm sorry. I believe that Kevin touched on this earlier, that TRC does offer free design assistance. So if you're having difficulty meeting our program requirements, or if you feel like you can get you want to achieve a lower CAHP score or CMFNH score, go ahead and contact us and we'll see what we can do to get your score lowered. Even if you have like modeling questions, we're here to help you. The design assistance is there. You just have to give us a call or email us. Primary eligibility requirements for both programs is something that I kind of touched base on earlier during the Q&A portion, is that your project has to be permitted to 2013 code. So that means that you get your permit on July 1st of 2014. Your project also has to be in PG&E service territory. You can receive just one commodity, not just both. So if your project receives just electricity from PG&E, you can still apply to the program and you'll receive a percentage of what your incentive is. And the same goes if it's just gas. We can offer you a partial incentive. Everything has to be new construction and it cannot be past drywall. For CMFNH, it's 3 or more attached units. So those are townhomes with shared walls. For CAHP, it's single-family homes as well as duplexes. We will accept townhomes if there's an air space in between, so if they're not connected, if the walls are not shared, they can still apply to CAHP. And Shannon did mention this earlier, that we will take gut rehab projects. It just really depends on the type of rehab work that's going on. We prefer it to be completely stripped down to just the framing, and you cannot reuse any of the old equipment that was in the house, so it has to be all new equipment. If you think you might have a project that falls in that range, just go ahead and contact myself or Shannon, and we can do a little more research and talk it out to see if your project qualifies. All of the program compliance and requirements are stated in both of our handbooks. So if you want to download those off of our website and look through them, if you have any other questions, you can contact us about that. I think it's back to you, Shannon.
Great. So this is the enrollment process specific to CMFNH. So the big thing, as I mentioned before, it has to be a 2013 code project. We've seen a number of projects that submitted they submitted applications under the 2008 standards. We cannot accept projects that fall into that range. So really the best time to get involved with us is early in the construction and the design process, definitely before drywall. Plan review usually takes at least a week. It could take a couple weeks if there's a queue of projects in front of you. So you want to leave that wiggle room to get through plan review before the project goes into drywall. So if you submitted your permit application for approval prior to July 1st of this year, the project is not eligible for the program. So that being said, we have our 2014 program application up on the website, and that's actually a link there. So when we send out this slide deck, you'll be able to click that. It's really short. We did our best to condense it. It's one page plus a survey. We also request a PDF plan set, so we no longer require hard copy plans, also making it easier for you. We often work with your energy consultant, and we can collect a 2013 energy model. So it has to assume that you're claiming all of the mandatory requirements of the 2013 code, plus exceeding it to meet that 84 or 15% depending on if you're high-rise or low-rise project. So we also take W-9s, and then early in the process we require some kind of PG&E proof of service. Will serve letter is the most common. We'll take an application receipt as well, and there's a few other documents that we can accept. So if you have any questions about that, you can just email me. And there's my email on the bottom of the screen, stodd@trcsolutions.com. And if you have any questions about the eligibility of your project, I know it's not always super clear. We try to make it easy, but definitely get in touch with me, and I'm happy to help with that. And so the exciting kind of urgent thing about this slide, you'll notice our application period, and note this is different from CAHP. We're accepting applications until November 15th of this year. And really, it seems like the last thing to come in as part of this list is the energy model. If you have a preliminary model, as long as it's in 2013 code, we will accept that. And so I encourage you, if you have a working model right now, please send it our way, and we can kind of get started collecting the application documents. I encourage everyone to submit them as early as possible because it is first come, first serve. We do have limited funding, and we also, you know, if you can get your application in this month or next month, then we won't have a rush right at the end. We cannot guarantee that you'll make it through plan review in time, and I imagine we'll be getting a rush at the end as well. So for eligibility purposes and just confirming that you have a complete package, you definitely want to submit soon. Next slide. I think we're on a question slide, and we've had a number of questions come in. One is actually going back to CAHP, Michelle, so I might put this on to you. I'm not sure of the answer. Can you clarify, is there an incentive max for a community, like the number of homes that, that could receive incentives within a community? Is there anything like that?
There's no maximum incentive currently that I'm aware of. So if a development has, you know, 300 lots, all 300 lots are eligible to receive the highest possible incentive. If that answers the question.
Yeah, and theoretically, incentives are unlikely to dip below that 55 score, so that's the more likely limitation that you would come up against. Is that right, Michelle?
Yes.
Great. So I have a question asking about design assistance and whether that's a free service. Yes, it is. So this is a service that's funded by PG&E, offered through us, your CAHP and CMFNH teams. Kevin, I wonder if you could walk through some of those ways, like maybe in plan review or before plan review, kind of what services could participants take advantage of?
Yeah, well, ideally we'd get involved as early as possible, even during the design of the project is when we'd really like to get involved, because that's where we can make the most amount of, or have the most amount of influence on the project with minimal cost to anybody changing anything in the plans or specifications. So yeah, we'd like to get involved as early as possible. If we do get involved later on, Then also during plan review, we'll make recommendations where we see that there's possible areas of improvement. So at any point in the stage, we're available and open to help out the projects. But yeah, we would love to get involved in if say there's a design charrette for a project, and get involved at that stage and go to the project meeting. That would be great for us. But yeah, at any time in the process, we're willing to help out. The earlier, the better.
Shannon, are you still there?
Oh yes, I just had myself muted.
Oh.
Okay, so I was saying, like Kevin said, it's great to get involved early in the design process, and even if you're not enrolled yet in the program, if you don't have a final energy model, you're still working through what systems you're looking at installing, or you're going through value engineering. If you want a second opinion, you're welcome to send some documents our way, and we can often identify some of the more cost-effective measures for reaching a lower score or a higher % above code. And we're really familiar too with the percentage requirements for CAHP, and we've worked a lot with the tax credit folks, so and with LEED as well, and Greenpoint rated. So there's a lot of coordination going on the back end too. So never hesitate to get in touch. One last question, just going back to the incentive spreadsheet calculator. So just to confirm, yes, it is available for CAHP and CMFNH. Really easy to use. You're just going to input the model outputs with some of the savings, and it will generate your score and will tell you your incentive. So I think we're ready to move on to the next slide. Actually, I do see a hand raised. So we're taking questions through the chat box right now. So if you want to type that in to the chat box, we can address it that way. Let's see. Okay, here's a good question. Can a builder calculate the CAHP score, or does the Title 24 consultant need to calculate it? Kevin, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, I mean, anyone can calculate the CAHP score using the calculators that we have, the spreadsheets that we'll be sending everyone after the presentation. Or if the builder has access to the energy model, they can get an output there of the CAHP score, at least for CBEC Res at this point, and eventually in Energy Pro and the other approved softwares. But if the builder has the energy end-use data from the energy model, they can use our calculator and calculate the CAHP score themselves. But they will need the energy use data that is generated from the model.
And if you're not quite sure, what you're inputting, or if you have some questions, we can also help. So if you're curious, especially your first few projects in the program, we are available to support that. So if you have an energy model, we can help to tell you what your score is. That's it for questions right now. So we can move on to the next slide, which Michelle will share with us. Actually, at this point, I believe we've done all of our multifamily slides. So if you are on a multifamily construction project and you don't do that much work with single family, we will be talking about the program processes, which are pretty similar, and we'll also be having a QA at the end of the webinar again. So you're welcome to stay on if you are a multifamily developer or a consultant that works closely with multifamily projects, but the remainder of the webinar will be talking predominantly about CAHP. So single-family new construction projects. So Michelle is going to tell us a little bit about the participation process for CAHP.
Okay, thanks, Shannon. So the 2014 CAHP participation process is very similar to the previous program cycle. You'll want to submit your new application to us, your energy model outputs, your building plans and spec sheets, preferably in PDF format, and any other supporting documents. And you want to get these into us as soon as possible. The very latest we could take it during a project construction would be when drywall or before drywall goes up. But if you can get it to us sooner, that would be great. Also prior to HERS testing beginning. Once we receive a complete application package, the project moves to plan review. And at this point, this is when our review team will look at the documents submitted. Design assistance could go on during this time, but like Kevin mentioned before, the sooner we can get involved, the better. After the project passes plan review, then we send it out to PG&E for official enrollment, and then after PG&E approves it, we send out your acceptance package. Once you receive your acceptance package, you can give permission to your rater to go out and perform any necessary HERS tests on your project. After the rater uploads their test results to the registry, the builder or the application package coordinator can submit their incentive request forms to us. We'll review those incentive request forms to make sure all the proper HERS measures have been uploaded to the registry, and once we send that off to PG&E, they will send out your incentive check to you directly. Just some steps to get started and best practices for applying to the CAHP program. We do have our application, our handbook, and our TRC checklist available to you all on our CAHP-pgne.com website. It's right there on the first page. We do encourage you to submit the entire application package to us at once, if possible. If you have to wait on a couple documents, that's fine. We'll do as much follow-up as we can with you, but just after having that last overload of applications, it can be difficult to follow up. So if you can get everything to us at once, that is most ideal. You can clearly name and label all of the documents that you submit to us as well. So if you're submitting HVAC specs and it's a file that's named something like 00284, if you could maybe retitle that HVAC specs, that would make things a lot easier for us. Also, when you're submitting spec sheets to us, if the manufacturer lists out everything that they produce and you're only installing one of those items, if you could just circle it or highlight it for us just to bring our attention to it so we know that's what you're installing, that saves us a lot of time. Also, the most important thing is just to maintain communication with the entire project team. If everyone knows what's going on, if everyone knows where the project's at, it just makes the application, plan review, and incentive request processing go a lot faster and smoother. And if you have any questions, we are happy to help at any point during the application process, during plan review, during the incentive request process. We are here to help. So go ahead and contact us at CAHP@trcsolutions.com, or feel free to give us a call at 866-352-7457. This is just a screenshot of our PG&E CAHP website. As I mentioned before, the checklist, the application, and the handbook are right there on the first page. So if you just need to download those things, they're available to you right there when you first open up the website. We have listed out all of the CAHP application package documents. So that includes the 2014 CAHP application. We prefer PDFs of all of your construction plans just because all other forms and hard copies are a little bit difficult for us to read, especially with our plan review team being spread across 3 offices. If you're a production home, we do ask that you submit a lot list for all of your lots. If you only have a partial, or if you're waiting for lots to be assigned address numbers, that's okay. Just let us know and keep us in the loop afterwards. We do also require a site map with the north arrow. Also, PG&E service verification. This can be a billing statement. This can be your PG&E service application. Just any kind of PG&E document that shows electric and or gas service is available to your project. Your Title 24 forms and the appropriate input files. All equipment specifications. And very important, just make sure your project is shared with us on one of the 2 registries. If you're having difficulty getting that done, just let us know and we can help walk through the process. It is new, so if you don't know how to do it, we can help you out. We do still require an enrollment survey. The only difference between this program cycle and the previous one is that if you're a builder, you only have to complete it once, and we'll have that completion date on file so we can use that same survey for all of your projects. If you're a custom homeowner or if you're the application package coordinator for that custom homeowner, you will have to complete the enrollment survey for each project that's enrolled. We do also offer a rollover process. So the CAHP cycles run in parallel with the energy code. So if we're in 2008 energy code, all of your projects will be applying during that program cycle, which just closed on June 30th. Now we are in the 2013 energy code cycle. So if for some reason you had a project that only half the permits were pulled before July 1st, they might fall into both codes. And if that is the case, go ahead and contact me and I will make sure that I get you a 2014 project rollover application started. And I will work with you to make sure that your lots that are permitted 2008 stay in the 2013 program, and any new lots that are being permitted to the new code will move on to this new program cycle that we're currently taking applications for. The rollover application packet consists of the application, of course, with a lot list. I can pull one of those from our database of your currently enrolled projects that you think might need to roll over. And I'll need you to submit your 2013 code energy models and input files. We will also request that the project is shared with us on the 2013 code registry. If you have any updated plans or spec sheets, that would also need to be included in your rollover application packet. We can start this process at any time. I do have a few builders I'm in contact with now that are going through this process. And if you have any questions about it or think you may need to do it, go ahead and you can contact us or me directly at CAHP@trcsolutions.com. I'm happy to help you with this process. It's not as complicated as it might seem. Did you want to lead this question?
Yeah, so if we see any new questions coming in, we must be doing a really good job of explaining the program. But don't be shy. We forget sometimes that we work in the program every day, and not everything is so obvious. So if there's anything that comes up and you're really just not sure, Michelle and I are both happy to set up a chat, like a time to discuss any projects that you have coming up. And if you have any questions about the program, we can do a little orientation on specific things. And if you have, like I said at the beginning of the presentation, kind of more technical questions, we're certainly happy to address those as well. Let's see if I have any more questions.
Hey, Hey, folks, this is Conrad Asper again with PG&E. Can I just interject something real quick?
Please.
So before we start losing people here, I think we're going to probably be ending up closing a little early. Two things. One, I just want to thank the TRC staff. They really do a great job. They are here to help you. They are very knowledgeable. And as we move towards stricter and stricter codes, it's really important to learn as much as we can from these folks and the services that are provided through PG&E funding, so that we're really getting folks geared up for those code shifts. That's one. And another thing, we're actually honored to have Sam Rashkin from the DOE coming to town. He'll be here next Monday. He'll be giving a presentation at the Pacific Energy Center on the 15th from 9 a.m. to 12:30. There was a e-blast that went out about this and other events coming up. I didn't see that on the events calendar previously earlier in the slide deck, so I just want to make sure that folks knew about that. He's going to be out here discussing with builders, giving them a comprehensive review of zero-net energy-ready home construction, and really that's what we're talking about through the CAHP program as well, is how are you getting more energy efficient. So that's the theme. He'll talk about business cases for why customers should be interested in more energy efficient homes, detailed specifications. He'll probably be going over things like ducts and conditioned space, high performing attics, those types of things as well. So if you have the time, it's an in-person training free from PG&E on September 15th, again 9 a.m. to 12:30 at the Pacific Energy Center in San Francisco. You can contact the staff here at TRC for more information on that. So I just want to interject those things. And thanks, you guys, for everything. I'll get back to you if you had any more questions come in. Thanks.
And I don't see any more questions. Thanks, Conrad. That was great. And that's going to be an awesome training. And if you don't receive our email blast with like the events and things, you can shoot me an email, and I can add you to our list. So we're always sharing every month for CMFNH, for sure. We're sending trainings for multifamily new construction through PG&E, through Build It Green, and lots of other organizations in PG&E territory. Let's see. I see a question coming in. Yeah, I think we're ready to just go to the last slide, which has our contact info. So these are all the folks who are on both teams, and a lot of us work in the same offices. So you can email me at info@cmfnh.com if you have any questions and want to refer anything to other members of the CMFNH team. So we are Sophia Hartkoff, Scott Kessler, Keith Sage, and myself. And then for CAHP, the email is cap@trcsolutions.com. Matt Christie is the program manager, Kevin and Michelle, who are both on this webinar, and Deborah, who is coordinating applications and also doing some plan review. There's a few other folks involved supporting plan review. I think we're really happy to help you. And if you have any questions about programs, or if you're looking for other programs that provide similar services, even if you're doing more retrofit work, we can help you identify the proper program to seek out. So just let us know. Tell us, kind of the projects you've got going up in your pipeline. Even if they're pretty far out, we can take note of those and follow up with you, later in the year or early next year, just to keep the ball rolling. Anything that you want to say, Michelle or Kevin?
I think we covered most of it. I forgot to add that we did change one part of the application plan review process. Was a project has to complete plan review before any drywall is installed and HERS measures begin. Prior to that, we would just need a complete application package, but we've now moved that date out till after a project completes plan review.
Thanks, Michelle. And I see a question coming in just inquiring when that training is. So the training that Conrad was talking about, the Zero Energy Ready Homes training, just to reiterate the time and day if you want to write it down, it's September 15th, 2014, so I guess that's next week, from 9 to 12:30, or yes, 9 to 12:30, and it's at the PG&E Pacific Energy Center in San Francisco. And if you haven't been there, I've gone to a few trainings there, and they're great and often free. So you can check out their the trainings on PG&E's training website if you want to be learning more about options for training with PG&E. Let's see. I think that is all. So we really appreciate you taking an hour of your lunch out to learn about the program and your interest. And so I hope that you have a great rest of your day. Certainly follow up with us if you have any questions. We'll be sending out the slide deck for this webinar, as well as some of the links that we mentioned, and we can include more detail on the training that Conrad mentioned. And we're wrapping up early today. So have a great rest of your day, and we'll be chatting with you hopefully in the next couple weeks about new projects. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.